I feel the change in the air. The horizon starts to flare. Lightning strikes without care, and the wheel begins to tear. I'm tired of running so long. I'm tired of hiding so long. Feeling the mask come undone. I try to hold you tight. I try to keep you right, letting the mask slip tonight. But you're gone out of sight. The sting of cold winter rain. Somehow I need all the pain. You set the ocean aflame. I watch it burn in the frame. I'm tired of running so long. I'm tired of hiding so wrong. Feeling the mask come undone. I try to hold you tight. I try to keep you right, letting the mask slip tonight. But you're gone out of sight. I try to hold you tight. I try to keep you right, letting the mask slip tonight. But you're gone out of sight.
Yes, sir, man. You already know what it is. We are back here to serve some more game on the ground for them hungry hounds. We just got the pound and are ready for the next round. And I forgot that this chair leans way back like this. I ain't gonna lie, I thought I was about to fall out of it. With that being said, you already know what it is, man. Y'all can see the title of this episode, this live, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna be checking out UFC Embedded. And then we're going to be checking out the Myron Gaines, Nick Fuentes, and the Top G Andrew Tate's live stream that they all did. It was a collaboration between the three of them on Myron's platform, which is going to be very interesting. I heard about this was coming out, I think, a couple of days ago. So now it's here, and we're going to get into what they were talking about. We're not going to be checking out the whole thing tonight, but we're definitely going to be checking out a good chunk of it. So with that being said, let me go ahead and get this pulled up up here real quick, man, and then we will get started. Let me go ahead and change this layout because y'all already know that ain't the layout. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this, man. Let me turn this playback speed up a little bit because you already know it may be some hoes with this shit. All right, let's get it.
I don't know too much about American sports, but it's an amazing privilege to be, going out there, throwing a pitch, meeting all these people. It's going to be incredible. This looks like such a good vibe. It's amazing. Oh, Bro. This is incredible. All right, boys.
You're good to go.
Yeah. That was great. It's a lot more nerve-wracking to do this than people would think.
Normally, when people throw that first pitch of the game, they throw it like way out to the side, or they don't throw it hard enough and it falls short, or they throw it too hard and it goes way over. That actually wasn't that bad.
That's a highlight of my career. That's a bucket list right there. Finding the love here in America, it just shows you how great the people are. The fans are amazing. I appreciate it so much.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Cross, cross, double jab, double jab, double jab, cross. Oh, get back, cross.
The nephew's over. We call it Uncle Boot Camp for the summer. These guys they're big enough now to kind of experience life away from home. Their parents are break as well.
There it is. Good. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Push them really hard. I'm going to give them some things that they can take home with them as well.
Next one, Mikey.
It's intense, especially when training with him, because it's like so much to expect from, you know, with him being in the UFC and other things. It's fun. I enjoy it a lot.
Oh, nice shot.
Hey, that's what's up, though. You training with your uncle and your uncle training with your nephew. That's what's up, bro. See, I love when fighters work with kids that are in their family, or even just kids in general, when it comes to teaching them martial arts and whatnot. I love that because they're opening up a new world to these kids as far as, you know, combat sports or just martial arts in general.
1, 2, 3. Good, good, good. Cross hook.
This is actually their last day today. It's going to be sad to see them go tomorrow because I've had a great time.
1. You were just like, yeah, I'm going out, I'm going out. All right, back in.
It's special for all of us, you know?
Good work. Go get yourself a drink, have a rest.
So we're at Paulie's Boxing in Manchester, obviously. We're doing my boxing training 1 week before the fight, getting sharpening up and just going over some technical bits. I feel great, man. Paulie's a sick coach, man. It's like very technical. Getting a bit, it gives me confidence as well going into the fight.
Aaron's got a good boxing background. Leron is a good boxer. I think he's one of the best boxers in the UFC. So it'll be an interesting match. I think Leron.
One of the best boxers in the UFC, huh? Interesting. I don't know, man. Ilya's pretty crazy with the hands.
It's been a short camp, just 3 weeks, but we're putting the work and I feel good. I'm always training, man. I'm a true professional, so I'm always in the gym, so I'm ready to go, man. Can't wait. That's a good shot, that, you know. Aaron Murphy, welcome. Just looks like he's hard line enough. And he's gonna know the level of the UFC when he gets here. He's gonna be in for a war, and it's gonna be a great fight. Let's go.
Rest.
We're about a week out from the fight, and right now we're at David August. He makes custom suits for a lot of high-level people, so I
Valentino Pico.
feel very honored for him to be able to make me a suit. He's been doing it for years.
How you doing, man? I'll get to see you. Ready to do a fitting?
I'm ready.
Let's go for it.
David is the man. He's always looking sharp. Always.
Trying.
Trim right now. Yeah, I know.
I'm craving pizza.
Tacos.
Who do you think's the best dressed UFC fighter currently?
I think Ilya Topuria, his style is good. I like that a lot. He's pretty classy with that. As far as suits, I think I have everybody beat, for sure. I grew up like loving GSP. I mean, that's a big reason why I wanted to do MMA. To be honest with you, it's really crazy that I'm going to be fighting on a co-main event, and I definitely don't take it for granted. That's why I train so hard, because I've been wanting to be in this position for a very long time. So now we're here.
Paid in full.
Exactly.
Here is Taubaté City, my hometown. I'm born here and I grow up here. Sometimes I come to São Paulo to training, maybe 3 times per week, but I always come back to Taubaté, and my favorite city in the world.
I wonder if he trained or has. Wonder if he trains or has trained with Alex Pereira. Ah, dude, that shit just hurted, bro. The fuck? Oh, that hurt.
When I get home, I like to play video game, rest a little bit, and then train again. I like to think about the fight when I come to the gym, and then when I leave the gym, it's okay. It's time to rest, time to have some fun. One more win.
Of course. He would be playing FIFA.
It's normal. Beat this guy on FIFA. Another masterclass. That's it.
We're outside my place over here in McKinney. Moved out here in January. I have one of my guys coming down. He has a mobile truck, and it has just a whole bunch of workout equipment. We're gonna come out here and then work out.
What's up, bro?
Good, man. How you doing?
Feeling well? Feeling good?
Yes, sir.
That elbow good?
Mobile gym equipment. That is new. I don't think I've ever heard of mobile gym equipment before.
Yeah, it's better. It's way better.
Nice.
All fresh, man.
Love to hear it. I've been working with Jeff for about 4 months now. Today, did some cardio, did some core in case he takes any shots to the body. We want to make sure that he's ready for that. And then also the ball slams and the ropes to keep him explosive and just make sure that he's always ready to go.
My wife actually trained before. She used to do jits and Muay Thai and all that. So she has an understanding of what it takes.
It's a lot of long days, a lot of heavy training days, especially, you know, this close. It's 2 sessions a day and busy and just exhausted. So really it's a little chaotic. It's a little nerve-wracking, you know, as we head into fight time and watch all the things, but it's exciting. It's a lot of fun.
How you feeling? I feel good, yeah. All right, brother, how are you? Good, I feel really good.
We're 1
That's
week out
your
from
boy,
the fight.
Hamzat, boy.
Hamzat and I were here doing our last conditioning session together here with Coach Cal, and everybody's in great shape and heading into fight week feeling good. So.
Ready? Go. Right, left. Good, here we go. Have 2 fine young men, Hamzat and Aaron Pico. Great fighters, very, very dedicated, perseverant, followed everything to the T. Ready, here we go.
It's a taper day, basically, just really short because we put in some crazy hard workouts with this guy. He doesn't play around.
Go.
I've never heard of using resistance bands on a bike. That's new. See, when you watch these videos and stuff, you learn some things about different ways that you can do training and stuff. Ways and things that would help you in a way that you wouldn't expect it to.
You know, it was basically firing the nervous system. It was short, it was sweet, it was explosive, but it was only 7 minutes total work, actually.
We train with Coach Cal. Work hard. It's not easy to work here and go for the fight. You feel good? Always feel good for the fight.
It's incredible to see these guys in their training camp right now. These guys are leaders in their field. These guys had to work to get to where they are, you know, playing for their jersey. So it's a first for me. I know the sport. I played the Xbox game, but I mean, to see it in real life and see these guys not only on the field playing, but seeing them in this competitive environment, playing for that spot, playing for their jersey, it's special.
Wow, what's up, stud? How are you?
Good, man. Good to meet you. Awesome, man. Pleasure is mine. Thank you for having us. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, it's gonna be jamming in there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
You gotta shock this. Buddy.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely.
I
love it. Nah, come on. All right, teach me something. What can I do with my brother and my dad next time they try to mess with me?
Bro, you want to hurt them or just want to play?
I want to just get them to be like, oh no, I'm done.
Bro, I would say hit him one kick, boom. That's the way to go. Bro, that's a one, bro. Right there on the ICB, done.
For the city of Chicago, there's not a better city in the world to have an event like this, and I think that that'll be easy to tell on the night of the fight.
Damn, this thing's heavier than I thought.
Excited to see the fight. Excited to see him take down Hamzat. Yeah, really just a real moment.
Pleasure. Taylor. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. How are you? Hey, nice to meet you guys. How y'all doing? Hey, good luck. It's always great to be surrounded by greatness, and you know that ignites a fire in anyone.
Who y'all think gonna win between the two, Dricus or Kamzat? I don't know, man. When you look at the two in this face-off photo right here, Hamzat or Hamzat, however you pronounce it, man, doesn't look like he really has much to lose. But when you look at Dricus, he looks like he's a I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, dude, I can't really say who I think is going to win. It could go different ways, you know. Dricus could catch Hamzat with those wild overhead hooks that he'd be throwing, and catch him on the chin and knock him out, or Hamzat could catch Dricus off guard and take him down and submit him. Or it could go to decision, which honestly, dude, I don't see this fight going to decision. I really don't. I think it's going either submission or knockout. Either knockout by Dricus or submission by Hamzat. That's the way I see this fight going. But I don't know who's going to win. Who do I want to win? It's one of them fights where I know they're both great fighters, and I'm not going to pick sides because I just want to see them fight. And it's not that I don't want to pick sides because they're my favorite fighters. I don't want to pick sides because they're not my favorite fighters. So in other words, I don't know who the fuck to pick who I want to win. But with that being said, man, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, the one that you all have been waiting for. Your boy Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines, and Nick Fuentes.
Disagree about.
Let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, my basic philosophy on it all, and I guess we can talk about it. And I feel, I try and stay very much in my lane. People think of me as unhinged, and I like to argue that I'm actually the absolute opposite. And the Groyper movement's not my movement. It's yours. You're on a generational run. You're doing fantastic work. The internet is yours. Twitter is yours. That can't be debated. And you should be very proud of yourself for that. When I said what I said, and if I read it here verbatim, I said the Groypers speak like a conquered people. The point I was making is that I feel, and this isn't even necessarily your fault, because in all movements, there's going to be varying degrees of extremity and extremism inside of it. What often happens is, especially with me, I will say something, often about women or white people reproducing, something along those lines. And the Groypers will jump in to call me a nigger and say I work for the Jews, as opposed to understand the point I'm trying to make. When I say that, it doesn't matter what laws we pass, it doesn't matter what legislation goes through the Congress, if white people don't have babies, you're soon to be replaced. The answer I get is, but the Jews made the white women not listen to us. And my answer to it is, well, now you sound like a conquered class, you sound like a conquered people. If the Jews are really trying so hard to subvert you from having children, then the correct answer is to have as many children as possible. The correct answer to my tweet is, they tried to stop me from having a bunch of white kids, but I did have a bunch of white kids. Look what I've achieved, irregardless of their attempts to subvert me, because I cannot be controlled. And there's a big difference between noticing a problem and using a problem as a cure-all excuse for your own personal circumstances. And I spoke.
He's not even lying, bro. Every time when I hear people talking about, it's the Jews again, it's the Jews this, the Jews that, I'm just like, dude, the Jews don't force you to do nothing. You force yourself to do nothing or to do something. Oh man, the Jews are trying to wipe out white people. No, you just don't care enough about your own bloodline to get yourself together so you can actually recreate with someone. That's what it really comes down to. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about your bloodline. You don't care about your legacy. Everybody's scapegoat is always the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. It's like, dude, shut up, bro.
In absolutes, because I often do, and I said, no Jew stops you going to the gym, which is a massive oversimplification. But the point I was making was, there's a lot. Have I gone?
No, you're here. Just turn your camera on. Hit the thing.
The camera's on.
Hold on, let me, because it was lagging. That's why I was. Okay, there you go.
Got some lag issues, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah. Okay, you're back on.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So, and Nick, I don't know if you could turn your camera off, then turn it back on. I think that might fix the lag. But go ahead, Andrew. They can still hear you guys though. Fine. I think that fixed it. It's less laggy.
Okay.
Well, yeah. The point I was making is that we have to make a.
It's right back to lagging again. That's tough.
Distinction here. And if we're going to notice there's a problem with influence of the American government, which I've never disagreed with, which in fact I have spoken up for and agreed with you on basically everything and promoted all of your clips saying exactly that. There is a large distinction between noticing a problem and highlighting it and combating against it and using it as an excuse to fail in life. And I feel like some of the Groypers, not all, some, sound a bit like the blacks talking about the system. And that's the point I was trying to make, that nobody can stop you winning if you want to win. That's the point I was making. I don't have a large problem with the movement en masse.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I don't think it's the Groypers, though. I think there does need to be a distinction made between what we would call, colloquially on the right wing, we call them the Wignats. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, but we call them Wignats. It stands for Wigger nationalist. Wigger meaning, you know. And the reason we call them Wiggers, as opposed to Groypers or something else, is because you're right. I would say that what black people, what is typified by black people, is this sort of victim mentality that says, oh, is it because I'm black? Oh, you only have a problem with me because I'm black. Oh, you know, keeping the black man down, all this kind of stuff. The reason we call them Wigger nationalists is because they have kind of adopted the worst aspects of black identity politics, which is to say, oh, you have a problem with me because I'm white? Oh, they're keeping the white man down. Oh, well, they'll just call us racist. Well, they'll just call us Nazis. And my attitude towards the problem is always, they can't stop us. If you go like I did and tell the truth directly and articulately, and you don't let them suppress you, at the end of the day, they really can't stop you. I think I'm living proof of that. And I encourage all my followers, don't make excuses. Don't go around and say, oh, it's because I'm white. Oh, well, they'll never let you say that. They'll never let you do that. They'll say you're racist. I say, try and stop us. What do you mean let? They're not going to let us. We're going to do whatever we want. And so I tell my followers, get as intelligent as you can, read books, learn languages, learn a musical instrument, go to the gym, get physically fit. I tell people, get into the best college you can. And if you're not interested in going that route and networking, then be an entrepreneur, make as much money as possible, infiltrate politics. But I guess where I would diverge slightly, if we're to get into, because I think we're in total agreement on that, and I'm with you 100%. I just would say I'm sure there's some Groypers that are saying something like that. I would call that Wignat. This like chest beating, oh, it's because I'm white, they're keeping the white man down. You know, they are keeping the white man down, but we have to be worthy of our ancestors as white men and say, we don't need permission. We don't need to ask for permission. We're not going to let them get in our way. They're going to do bullshit to us, but we have to find a way to overcome. I guess where I would diverge slightly, because I hear this all the time, and directionally, I suppose I agree. But, you know, when you talk about the birth rates, you're 100% right that the birth rates are a problem. The white people are not having kids. And if the white people don't have kids, it's over. We're going to be replaced. And I hear people say this to me all the time. They say, you need to have kids. And I plan on doing that. I plan on getting married and having kids at some point. I guess where I would depart, even from my fellow white people who say this, is that there is something structural happening where I don't believe the answer is that we're going to tell ourselves we all need to start having kids. Because how many people are even political? How many people are aware of the white genocide? How many people are going to have kids as a response to this problem? It's a very, very tiny number. And it's not to say that we shouldn't contribute to the solution, but it is to say that we fundamentally must engage in politics. It's sort of like chess. You know, all the pawns could simultaneously wake up one day and say, we need to have more white babies, we need to have kids. I think that's highly unlikely. We need to strike at the king. We need a regime. We need to engage in politics. And I don't just mean like voting. I mean, we need to become resourceful, influential, rich, run media, be entrepreneurs, you know, pay politicians to run for office. And we need to use politics to change society. Because when you look at the strategy of like the...
Basically, he's saying that you need to play the same game that the Democrats do. And the Republicans as well. There's BS on both sides. But, you know, it's unfortunate, but to a certain extent, he's right. About us going to have to engage in politics. Because if you don't engage in politics, how are you supposed to know what's going to happen next in your city, your town, your state, even your country? If you don't engage in it. And that's something that every person should know what's going on. Because next thing you know, if you ain't paying attention to politics, the next bill that gets passed could have some real BS in it. It could end up setting up, you know, and this is just I guess a reference or whatever. It's a what if scenario. They could pass a bill, and in that bill could set the stage for the arrival of the mark of the beast, and you wouldn't even know it. Next thing you know, you can't buy nothing, you can't sell nothing, you can't trade nothing, you can't make no money, you can't work, nothing without whatever the mark would be. And you wouldn't know it because you wasn't paying attention to what was being passed in them bills enough to actually do something about it.
Jews, as an example, they're 2% of the population, but they have this extraordinary influence. That's because they go for the locus of power. They're in LA, they're in New York City, they're in DC. These are the most powerful cities in the world. They're in San Francisco, they're in El Segundo. They're striking at the locus of power. And from the locus of power proceeds the cultural standards, precedes these dominant narratives in the education system from academia. And so I'm really a believer, not in as much saying, oh, white people in general need to have more kids. Certainly that's a good thing. But it's more like I want the most brilliant elite human capital, the smartest, richest, best white people to become as powerful as possible, take over the institutions, and from the institutions promulgate a message of fertility, racial solidarity, national solidarity, and national consciousness. That's kind of where I'm at. And I don't think you'd even disagree, but it's just kind of like going a little step further on that.
No, I agree with you, actually, completely. And culture is the driving force behind all things. You know, I often comment on white people, black people. I'm in a unique position because I am a race mixed individual, which pisses off a large percentage of the internet. But this is how I was born, and that's how it goes, and there's not much I can do about it. But I would argue, besides yourself, there's probably no one else with a platform as large as mine who speaks up for white people ever. And one of the problems with extreme right-wing white people is we have this infinitely divisible, constantly searching for more and more based, to the point where no matter how much you do for them or try to help them, you're going to eventually not be based enough for them. And this is seen amongst white people in general. If we removed all the black people from Western civilization today, within 30 years, the Germans would be fighting the Italians again. I mean, that's what happened. Only 30 or 40 years ago, the Irish and English were blowing each other up. And now Ireland and England's both full of asylum seekers from the boats. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. So this infinitely divisible, this constant search for the more and more based version, I actually think in some ways subverts the whole movement. The movement you've launched is so fantastic. The cultural effect you've had is also fantastic. But the biggest threat to the movement is not going to be external. It's going to be internal. And there's a percentage of people, no matter what I say, in defense of you, in defense of white people, in defense of Western civilization, come along and say, because my dad is black, who was a chess genius, by the way, is the only reason I'm even smart, that I'm a piece of shit and I need to be kicked out or I need to die or whatever. And I don't care because truthfully, I think it's hilarious. You have these cartoon anon accounts constantly going to a deeper and deeper level of everyone's a Jew, everything is this, everything is that. And they can't even get along with somebody who is clearly on their side in the larger fight. This is how you're going to end up losing the fight in the long run. And I think that's...
And that right there is what you call a liberal. People who just blindly accuse and believe whatever they see and hear that fits their narrative, bro. And I cannot stand those people. Because even if you're on their side, they will still hate you because you don't agree with every tiny little detail that they think. The smallest and most minor detail that you disagree with them on, they will scream at you and call you racist, or call you a pedophile, or call you this, or call you that, call you a Jew, call you all these different things, bro. Because of one little detail that you disagree with them on. And it's just absolutely insane.
Where some of the problem comes from, which again is not even your fault. But that's the problem with that movement as a whole. And I'm going to say one thing from a personal perspective. I do feel like there is a degree of ungratefulness. Once again, this is not your fault, but there's an ungratefulness amongst people and an ungratefulness amongst the internet. I remind the internet, on October 8th, against all legal advice, I told Piers Morgan it was a genocide. I stuck up and was anti-Israel on Piers Morgan on October 8th, before it was cool on the internet, very much like you. Now everybody does it. You did it before it was cool. I did it before I was cool. Anti-Semitism is a crime in Europe. They put me back on house arrest. I was locked in my house for 11 months because of what I said on a podcast. And now they turn up and tweet underneath that I'm a Jew. And I just think, if that...
Dude, that is insane, bro. That is absolutely insane. He said now they've heard enough and now they're calling him a Jew. What? And this is what I'm talking about, bro. They don't see they're they're very anti-Semitic because they believe that Jews don't belong over there. Yada yada yada, whatever. And you could be anti-Israel as well. But like I said, if there's a detail that you disagree with them on, what are they going to do? Blow up. And then they started calling him a Jew. You can't make this up, bro. Their logic makes absolutely no sense.
As a movement, we're only ever going to be a laughingstock to our enemies. And I agree with you about the locus of power. You're completely correct. And I think it's a multifaceted attack. But we have to be very careful here, because if I owned a farm and all the sheep worked out that I had a slaughterhouse, and all they did all day was say, that's a slaughterhouse, he's got a slaughterhouse, but they still walked into it, I wouldn't really care. There has to be a point where you don't obey what I want you to do. If they're trying to stop you from reproducing, then you must reproduce. If they're trying to beat you down so you don't make money because of Ursula, you need to make money. If they don't want you to be brave, you need to be brave. You need to look at their exact playbook, and instead of tweeting at people, instead of accusing every single person who doesn't have an Anon cartoon account of being a Jew, you need to do the absolute opposite of what they want you to do. And I believe that's how we win. That's how your movement and you become president of the United States. I think that's better for you and the movement as a whole. So when I made that tweet, that Groypers speak like a defeated people, that's because I'll say something, and I speak in absolutes. I absolutely do, and I think trolling is hilarious. And I make it clear that, you know, a white man, I say white man can't get a kid out of a woman unless he buys her 2 houses and 3 cars and a nanny, ha ha ha. The Somalian can get 11 kids out of Fatima without a job. And I make a joke of it. All the replies is, well, now you're a Jew, you're a race-mixing Jew, you work for the Jews. And I just think that that is counterproductive to the fight and counterproductive to your movement. That's my actual view.
At the same time, though, you got to recognize that if you're going to rage bait, you can't really be mad when people get mad. You know what I mean?
I think it's hilarious. I'm real nigger Tate. I call myself a nigger all day long. I love trolling.
Oh, dude, that is hilarious.
When people get mad, you know what I mean?
I think it's hilarious. Yeah. I think it's funny. I mean, I'm real nigger Tate. I call myself a nigger all day long. I think it's funnier than it is. I love trolling. I'm all for it. I'm just saying that if we're going to try and have a...
Oh, dude, that is hilarious, bro. You said I love trolling, and I'm all for it. Hey, bro, this is why it takes the top G, bro. I gotta go back.
I think it's hilarious. Yeah. I think it's funny. I mean, I'm real nigger Tate. I call myself a nigger all day long. I think it's funnier than it is. I love trolling. I'm all for it. I'm just saying that if we're going to try and have a serious political movement here, then calling every single person a Jew because of some tedious or tenuous link, I think is disingenuous. I think that, and again, this is just my personal view, and I don't know enough. Since I got released from house arrest after 3 years in my house in February, I haven't been online that much, and I noticed you said I didn't weigh in on the Candace Tucker thing. I'm not versed enough to truly weigh in. I haven't seen every video. I haven't seen all of it. I haven't seen the back and forth. I've been with my children living my life. However, I would argue that Tucker has red-pilled a lot of people who would never watch your show about very important things that are happening in the American government that you'd agree with. I would say the same for Candace. I think of them on the good side of the fight. And perhaps this is going to get me in trouble. I think of them as good people trying to do the best thing they can, which is tell their version of the truth. And they're by and large on our side. And I think this infinite, divisible, constant infighting, constant looking for who's the most base, constantly saying, well, he's done 99 things right, but this one thing makes him a Jew. I just think it's holding us back by and large. That's
what did I tell you, bro? The smallest detail. You can agree with them on anything, but the smallest detail, and they'll blow up on you. It's literally what he just said. Because of this one thing, now you're a Jew. Come on, bro. Like, when did it become an insult to call somebody a Jew? You know, like, what?
That's my personal view, but it's not my movement. So I'm just saying what I see it as from the outside.
Well, and, you know, maybe that's where the disagreement lies, because I talked with Alex Jones about this yesterday. We didn't even plan on talking about it, but he brought it up. Obviously, I'm in this big feud with both Candace and Tucker Carlson right now, and I see it being characterized on Twitter by some people as infighting. And I would agree with you. I would tend to agree with you that if I were an outside observer, I would look at Candace and Tucker and myself, and I would think we're all on the same side. We're all pushing in the same direction. Certainly, we're all criticizing Israel. We're all against the war in Iran and the rest of it. And that's what I would tend to think. And yet, when I went out and did Candace's show, instead of talking about what we had in common, she wanted to talk about all the things that we had apart. And she in particular wanted to press me on if I really hated Jews and if I was really a racist. So that confounded me, because if I'm an outside objective observer, maybe without all the information, I would say, wait, aren't Candace, Tucker, and Nick on the same side? But being me, I went to do her show with my suit on, ready to talk about the Iran war, the neocons, all this kind of stuff. And she's pressing me, why do you hate Dave Smith? Is it because he's Jewish? Do you hate Jews for being Jewish? Are you a racist? Is that why you're against race mixing? And so I finished the interview, and not to relitigate the whole thing, but this is just a summary of it. I finished the thing, and I get on my show, and I say, it's weird she's putting it behind a paywall. I said, and also I'm unhappy with what we talked about. I thought this was an olive branch. Clearly, it was some kind of like a lecture. I thought she was having me out to maybe extend an olive branch and connect, and instead I got a wagging finger from a woman in my face, which I don't really care for. And then, as if to make matters better, she goes with Tucker Carlson. And Tucker, who, you know, me and him have a bit of a history, he calls me a basement dwelling, weird gay kid. He says I'm a CIA agent. He unloads this personal attack on me. And so, yeah, I would not characterize that as infighting. I would say, to me, that looks like a coordinated attack on me, and it's not purity spiraling. It is coming from them in the other direction, saying that I'm too extreme. In fact, that's literally what Tucker said. Tucker said that I am a crazy anti-Semite who is trying to make them look bad by being too ideologically pure. So, you know, maybe you've been away for a long time, you don't know what's going on, but it wasn't me coming at them for being soft. No, they were coming at me for being too extreme. And that's where I have to defend myself and say, wait a second, you're calling me a CIA agent? Your fucking dad was in the CIA. I said this to Tucker on this big show. A week later, Elon Musk is echoing what Tucker Carlson said, calling me a Fed. And it's in the context of this Matrix attack. I don't know what else you call that. That then you came on Twitter and said the thing about the Groypers. I think that's why they took it a certain way, because what it looked like was coordination. I don't know if you're in on that or not. I don't believe you were, but certainly something weird is going on. And it all coincided with what you said, which is, I'm on this generational run. I have broken containment. I'm going mainstream. Now, I would like to do a show with Tucker and talk about our similarities and differences. I would have liked to do that with Candace Owens, but it seems like they're trying to keep me out. They're trying to push me aside. As far as the movement's concerned, I'd like to be on the same page with them, but, you know, they don't feel that way about me. So, you know, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that whole situation?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. And like I said, I'm not fully versed on all of it. I guess there's two ways I can answer that question. At a certain point, and of course, you're a full-grown man, you make your own decisions. I'll be very clear that I like Candace. She's always been very respectful to me. I think she's fantastic at her job. I actually think she's amazing at what she does. I have nothing bad to say about her. I think that when people were saying the Bridget series was irrelevant, I think that's disingenuous. I think it's actually very relevant to find out if the most prominent country in the European Union is being run by a pedophile and his dad. I also think it's hilarious that she trolled Macron into having a meltdown. I think that trolling's funny, and I think it's funny. I don't know anyone doesn't find that funny, but legal letters are flying around the world. I mean, you're saying they attacked you. I respect it. There's two ways to answer that question. The first thing you can do, and you can make your own decision as a full-grown man, is it about you and your own personal feelings, which it's allowed to be, by the way, or is it about the movement by and large as a whole? Because I've sat down with people who have come out for me guns blazing, but I believe they were 65% on the same side as me, and I defended myself, and I thought, you know what, they're doing more harm than good, and instead of arguing about the color of the wallpaper inside the castle, let's defeat the orcs at the gate first. And then we can start arguing about how we're going to decorate this room. But that's a decision that you can make personally. I'm not saying what they did is right, and I'm not saying what you did is wrong. That's a decision that you can make. I understand that my timing now with that context would be suspect. I understand that absolutely. But I have nothing against Candace and Tucker. And the whole CIA agent dad thing, I'd actually like to address that as well. One of the reasons why that holds no weight with me is my father was in the intelligence services. And now there's a whole bunch of people spamming my account saying that I'm a Jewish asset because my father was CIA. But I've been very honest and open about the fact that he was a translator and he spoke 3 languages. And I was also open about the fact that he was discharged without a pension for not following orders, ended up living in his car being a traveling chess player. And I had to grow up in a homeless hostel in Luton, England, fighting Kosovans at the age of 11. So if there's some big intel agency op going on, I never got any money from it. And our family grew up destitute. And I grew up in the worst area in England. And now they're throwing me in jail at random. So for anyone to believe that I'm some kind of intelligence op or a Fed is disingenuous. And another thing,
dude, I love how he just so smoothly says all these big words and just keeps it rolling. He said, because I believe it's disingenuous. I mean, that's facts. That's 100% facts, bro. People be disingenuous as hell. For real. Like, they just be coming up with the most goofiest garbage things ever that they can use to hate on you. And it's like, dude, come on, bro. Like, there's got to come a point in time in your life where you look at yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, what are you doing? For real. But yeah, man, with that being said, we are definitely going to continue this in the next stream because this is interesting as fuck. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, your mummies, your aunts, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. And I'm gonna let Rav take it from here, boy.
You're really serious and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord to do his will. I'm that nigga.
Motherfucker, because it's my world and every motherfucking thing in it. That including your asshole too.
Well, God send the devil in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit. Then motherfucker, you fucked up, huh? You fucked up, huh? You know your ass is doomed. What you got to speak? If you don't know shit to speak on this topic I'm bringing up, shut your goddamn ass up.
What do you say, Gerard? You ignorant slut.
I don't think I'm God. I ain't saying I think I believe. I know, and if you study the words, you study my book, you will know I'm me too.
You didn't create the heaven and the earth, baby.
But I did. I'm that motherfucker. You know me, don't you?
Hell no, I don't want you.
You don't know me? That's shame on your goddamn ass then. Shit, I'm the motherfucker. Give a fuck what you believe in. Believe in you some goddamn Ku Klux Klans members, don't you? And house nigga, bitch made ass, nincome fucking poops, monkey minded, Afrocentric motherfuckers. You wanna call me and tell me your opinion?